With a smirk on their faces, my husband and mother-in-law pulled out a piece of paper. It contained absurd demands like leaving the house to my husband and not complaining later, all written with my mother's signature. She must have been deceived into signing it. This has no legal effect. It's outright fraud.
No, I wrote this.
She admitted so easily. We were thrown out of the house, along with a completed divorce form. My husband looked at me expectantly. Did he think I'd cling to him? I won't look back, ever. Just wait and see. Beside me, gritting my teeth, my mother said,
We're happy.
My name is Ava. I'm 53, part-time and a homemaker. Lately, my hands have been severely chapped. My husband is an office worker. We live with my parents in their home. We don't have any children. But I have a more serious worry than chapped hands. She might have dementia. It's almost certain, though not officially diagnosed yet. Her memory and judgment are weakening. She forgets a lot, even things she's forgotten. Sometimes she acts like a different person, doing absurd things. Some days are worse than others. She used to be diligent and perceptive. But since she injured her knee and stayed home, it's been gradually declining. Her knee has healed, but I don't want her going out alone out of concern. My father and I take turns caring for her. Since he is home when I'm at work during the day, we can handle anything that comes up. But I worry her symptoms might worsen, and my husband shows no willingness to help. We have to think about what we are going to do. Then my father fell ill and had to be hospitalized for a long time. I can't leave my mother alone, but I can't keep taking time off work either. When I discussed it with my husband,
Aren't you worrying too much?
As if it were someone else's problem. She might leave the stove on or get lost.
That's exaggerated.
What if something happens?
You can't worry about every little thing.
He's annoyed. Even if they're in-laws, isn't he too cold towards my mother, whom we've been living with for years? Besides, we're only living here because his income is too low. Shouldn't he feel grateful and want to reciprocate?
Quit your job and take care of her.
It's not as easy as he makes it sound. I don't want to quit my job, even if it's part-time. I've been working at the same place for years. Can you support us with your income? I wanted to ask him. If you use caregiver services and help out, I think we can continue living as usual.
Huh? Me?
Only occasionally.
She's your mother, isn't she?
But
It's none of my business. You'll have to handle it yourself.
you can't talk like that.
Even if her symptoms are severe enough to use caregiver services?
We'll find out from the hospital.
You're always complaining about your part-time job at the salon, how your hands get chapped, how standing all day is hard. Just quit already.
He said, clicking his tongue before leaving. What the hell? That's awful. Sure, my hands get chapped, but I've never said I want to quit. It infuriates me to hear him speak ill of my beloved job. I knew this day would come eventually. It's not my problem, he says. That can't be right. We're family. Should I give him the same treatment if his mother ends up in the same situation? I'm so angry. But there's nothing I can do. I'm the flexible one, working part-time. And though I think it's still a long way off, if it comes to helping her change clothes or bathe, she'll probably resist. If I quit being a hairdresser at my age, I won't be able to return to the job. Trends and chemicals keep changing, and I can't keep up. Even though I have loyal clients. No, there are plenty of hairdressers, but I'm the only one who can care for my mother. There's no point in being depressed. I have to look forward to it. When my father gets out of the hospital, things will go back to normal. First, I'll take my mother to the hospital, have a proper discussion with my husband, arrange for caregiver services, and prepare for the future. I still don't want to quit my job. I should see if I can get some time off. A few days later, just as I had decided, my father's condition suddenly deteriorated, and he passed away. What a shock. There was no time to grieve for family members. Funeral preparations, along with various procedures, kept coming one after another. My mother was deeply saddened. Sometimes, she seemed absent-minded like a child, suddenly bursting into tears, unable to control her emotions. But once she put on her kimono, she straightened up as if by magic and carried out her duties as the chief mourner admirably. I, too, was vigilant in supporting her. And just like that, we bid farewell to my father in no time. Both mentally and physically exhausted, my mother and I finally began to feel the loneliness of his absence. He was a man of few words but kind-hearted. Even though we knew he wouldn't come back, there were still his armchair, teacup, reading glasses, and half-read paperback books. Neither my mother nor I felt inclined to tidy them up. At that moment, my husband returned with his parents. Come to think of it, he had said this morning that they were coming to help clean up the house. I appreciated their willingness to help, but I wasn't ready for that yet. I politely declined and suggested they have some tea before leaving. My mother seemed exhausted and was dozing off. I decided to let her rest. I showed my in-laws to the tatami room by the entrance and prepared tea. My husband started demanding, "I want coffee, not tea, and get some sweets too." I thought, why don't you do it yourself? They're your parents, but there was no point in holding a grudge forever. I had decided to move forward positively.
Let's hire a professional to dispose of the big items all at once.
Yeah, right.
They discussed such matters without consulting us. We don't need to tidy up just yet.
Why?
She rolls her eyes. We'd like to wait until we're a little more settled.
Huh?
When I said that, she tilted her head and said,
What are you talking about? That's inconvenient.
I didn't understand why she was inconvenienced. I looked at my husband, but he avoided my gaze.
Well, we've already given the house to our eldest son's family.
The renovations are starting soon. What should we do? Well, I don't understand what you are saying.
From today, my parents will live here with us.
My husband suddenly declared. Wait, what are you talking about?
It's already decided.
Huh? This is my parents' house. I was confused, and my husband wouldn't meet my eyes.
Ava, didn't you hear about it?
Her casual tone added to my confusion.
I thought I told you. Were you not listening? Maybe you forgot because of the funeral.
He lied with a straight face. How could I have missed such an important conversation, even with all the hustle and bustle of the funeral? I don't understand, and I do not agree.
Your consent isn't needed. It's already done.
What do you mean?
I've already.
I felt a chill run down my spine. When did this happen? Did they take advantage of my mother's absent-mindedness to push this through unilaterally? That would be unforgivable. I was stunned. My mother-in-law turned to my husband and said,
Hey, we can't take care of useless freeloaders who quit their jobs and need financial support. Can we?
He nodded in agreement.
Right, so you two need to leave as soon as possible.
Her words were so shocking that I couldn't speak. Were my mother and I the useless freeloaders who quit their jobs and need financial support? What did she mean by telling us to leave? This is my parents' house. Cancel this.
No way, Ava, you look scary.
I haven't quit my job. And I'm not whining. And my mom is not a useless freeloader.
It's all true. I can't lie because I have an honest personality. Haha.
How could she say such cruel things with a laugh? I felt dizzy.
It's impossible to cancel. You signed a document.
He pulled out a piece of paper with ridiculous demands like leaving the house to my husband and not complaining later, all written down. And indeed, my mother's signature was on it. She must have been deceived into signing it. This has no validity. It's not a joke. It's a scam.
What?
You made my mom write it when she was demented, didn't you? It's invalid.
What are you talking about? You said yourself earlier that you are not an old man.
Then, my mother, who was supposed to be dozing off, showed up.
Welcome, everyone. What brings you here today?
She greeted us with a smile, completely unaware. My husband suddenly confronted her.
Mother, is the signature here yours? Did you sign here?
Yes, that's my handwriting.
It's so unfair.
If you understand, then pack your things and leave right now.
How dare you?
If you don't leave, I'll call the police for trespassing.
This is absurd. Without understanding anything, we were forced out of the house, stuffing valuables and personal belongings into our suitcases. They even handed me a pre-filled divorce form, saying, "Submit this." He looked at me with a smug, expectant gaze. Does he think I'll cling to him? I clenched my teeth and avoided eye contact. As I stepped out of the doorway, I desperately grabbed one memento of my father's, the leather shoes he cherished and polished. Although they were men's shoes and not very useful, it was better than having no keepsakes. My mother and I got into the car and drove aimlessly, consumed by anger towards my husband and in-laws, along with a sense of loss and anxiety. Overwhelmed by despair, we wondered what to do next. I couldn't muster any positivity. Tears welled up. At that moment, my usually quiet mother muttered,
How fortunate.
Despite losing my father and being kicked out of our family home, she said the opposite of what I felt. Is she senile? Mixed emotions resembling anger surged within me, but before I could say anything, she began speaking.
We're free now. It's a relief that unnecessary things have parted ways on their own. No regrets, right?
I have regrets about leaving our family home. I replied with frustration, and she laughed.
That old, big house was falling apart. I wonder what they liked about it. It's such a hassle to maintain, but lucky them. They can leave it all to someone else.
She said in an overly positive tone. It's too much positivity. Even though I wish Dad were still alive. I exclaimed.
What are you saying? It's better this way. I don't want your father to suffer.
What about the furniture and appliances you just bought and liked? Aren't you sad to leave them behind?
We can buy new ones. It's exciting.
You're not upset about being called a senile old person?
It happens to everyone.
She said casually. Despite losing everything in one fell swoop, she remained nonchalant. I felt irritated and thought spitefully that she'd probably forget what she said now too.
I'd be happy if you were with me. If you weren't here, I might have followed your father.
Mom.
It's okay. It's okay.
She said, drifting off to sleep again. She's just like a child. That's right. If she forgets, as long as I remember, it's enough. Although I haven't fully recovered, I feel like everything will be okay as long as I'm with her. Soon after that, my husband contacted me.
If you insist, I can forgive you. You can put your mother-in-law in an institution.
You can put your mother-in-law in an institution. Huh? Can I forgive her? Did I do something wrong? I could see that she was thinking of using me as a housekeeper. I didn't want to have any more conversation, so I just said no and hung up the phone. My head was clearer than before. I guess I didn't need a husband. I had barely taken anything of my father's with me. Mother said memories were enough, so I had given up, but if there's anything left, I want to keep it close. I entrusted her to a neighbor and headed back to my parents' house for the first time in a while. At that moment, I had forgotten how much of a scoundrel my ex-husband was and felt gratitude instead. I told my workplace what happened and decided to start my own business as a hairdresser. I used some of my savings as a down payment and bought a second-hand house in the next town over. It used to be a house and a beauty parlor. The owner of my part-time job was very kind and gave it to me at a very reasonable price. Here, I could work from home with my mother by my side. The owner also helped me with the tools to open the store and remodel the store.
Ava has always been there for me.
His kindness sinks into my tired heart. I used up all my savings preparing for the opening, but I had no regrets. My husband was against it, so I had given up until now, but it has always been my dream to own my hair salon. I don't know if it will work out. I have not lost my anger toward my husband and in-laws. However, I was able to cover up these feelings with my busy schedule, and the excitement of starting something new was greater. I was more excited about starting something new. I'm not looking back now. I have opened my hair salon, which I have longed for. My mother helps me with cleaning and laundry. In my spare time, I enjoy gardening. Chatting with my neighbors has become a daily routine. I am grateful that they advertise my store. I think I spend much less time sitting idle. When I was finally getting into a rhythm of life with my mother, my ex-husband contacted me.
Why haven't you contacted me?
Huh?
I told you I forgive you. Come back home for once.
What are you talking about?
You're in trouble. Don't be so stubborn.
My ex-husband said with a snicker. I nodded my head. In trouble? Who is? Where did he come up with that?
I heard you open a store. An old hairdresser like you alone.
Poor old man. I've been a hairdresser for many years and I have a clientele, and the store is in a residential area. Many people come to the store after taking a walk. Please don't imagine that I am selfish. I make a lot more money than I did when I was working part-time. If you have no use for me, I'll hang up.
Wait a minute.
What is it?
Well, I need you to come over to my house so I can return your father's belongings. What do you mean?
My father's things that I could hardly take out. My mother had given up on them because she said she only wanted the memories. But if they were still there, I wanted to keep them. I had given up on it because she said that it was just a memory. Leaving her in the hands of a neighbor friend, I headed to my parents' house for the first time in a while. At this time, I forgot how much of a scum my ex-husband was, and was even grateful for him. My parents' house was an odd sight from the entrance. Unnecessary cardboard boxes were piled up, and mud stains and dead leaves that had flown in were still there. I wondered if they hadn't cleaned up, and as I watched, my ex-husband came out of the house.
Hey, long time no see.
I'm in a hurry. Can you give it to me as soon as possible?
It's in the house. Come in.
The parents' house was so dirty that I hesitated to take off my shoes and go up there.
It's a mess, isn't it? My mom can't clean the house until now.
The oldest son's wife used to do it. He complains, but if that's the case, why doesn't he clean the house himself? He is as selfish as ever. But it has nothing to do with me. I have no more regrets about a house that has been trampled on by others. It seems that my ex-husband is using the former living room as his sleeping place. Of course, it is a perennial floor, littered with trash from candy and juice, and smells filthy. I don't even want to breathe. It's filthy. I muttered to myself, and he said,
Right? So come clean it up.
Suddenly he says something unintelligible.
Damn, if you had bowed out earlier, it wouldn't be this dirty.
Huh?
I'll give you $10 an hour. Wouldn't it be great to get paid just to clean?
His goofy face, which I hated. Oh well, in his mind, I was set up to need money. It seemed that denying it wouldn't do me any good, so I decided to finish my business and go home. I don't want to. Just get on with it and hand over my dad's belongings.
Oh, well, I guess Mom threw it away by mistake.
I knew it. I didn't think it might be a lie, but I took a gamble. And I was betrayed after all. I was disappointed. But now I have made up my mind. I have no more use for this house or my ex-husband. He stands in front of me as I try to leave. How annoying. Please get out of my way.
Wait, all right, don't sulk. You can come home alone.
What?
God damn it, you should have just come clean with me, man. You should have just been honest with me.
This is your last chance. I don't understand.
What's wrong with you?
If you want a housekeeper, find someone else.
Hey, don't get carried away. What can a part-time woman do on her own?
He underestimated me. Don't be silly, he's forgotten. The only reason I've ever worked part-time is because he didn't want to. Because my salary would be more. I've been supporting you so that you could just do his job, and now you call me part-time and a woman. He looks down on me and thinks I'm a big jerk. Get out of my way.
What?
Get out of my way. You're worthless with a low salary.
What? What?
Ask your favorite mom to clean up. I slipped past the stunned him and left my parents' house. Ah, I felt refreshed. Seeing my parents' house transformed, I lost all attachment to it. I was disappointed that my father's belongings were missing, but it was better than having them dangled over my head forever. The look on his face as he rolled his eyes was a masterpiece. Let's go home soon. My mother is waiting for me. Sometime later, the owner of the hair salon where I used to work offered me a new job. It's a home visit hair service. This is a service that travels to the hair salon for customers who need nursing care and cannot come to the salon. The service is registered with the government office, and if there is a request from a client in the neighborhood, the service goes to their home. In some cases, it may be a nursing home. Some beauticians even make it their main job. I have a fixed clientele at my store, so if I were to take on a client, it would be once a week. However, I have a mother I don't want to leave alone. Even though I've been doing well lately, I don't want to go out all over the place.
Sounds interesting. Please take me with you as your assistant,
she said to me, as I was struggling with this. I had assumed that an assistant was a young apprentice hairdresser, but this was an eye-opener for me. I was blindsided. Yes, I should take her with us and walk her out. The doctor at the hospital had said so too. The best way to prevent dementia is to be actively involved in society and live a vibrant life. Let's not worry too much. Let's try it first. I decided to take on several jobs a week. She is a very capable assistant, helping me clean up and talking to the clients while I am working at the site. She moves quickly and is very aware, just like she used to be. She is no longer idle. Then one day, my ex-husband showed up at the store.
What are you doing here?
I guess if he is in business, his whereabouts will inevitably be identified, but that doesn't mean he's going to come out here and harass me. How long are you going to bother me? I hid behind my back to protect my mother and clutched my phone ready to punch in 911.
Well, I think I'll ask for a shampoo and a cut.
Don't be silly. What do you want?
I got an eviction notice from the real estate agent.
What?
You're the one who sold the land and the house, right?
I don't remember that at all. What are you talking about?
They think it's an uninhabited garbage house, and they've brought in a cleanup crew.
You've got to be kidding me. Well, it's my mother. She sold the family home. I mean, didn't she say something about having finished changing the name of the house? No. The only thing she signed was that fraudulent document. Did he think that one handmade piece of paper was all it took? I knew that she was a person who couldn't do anything, but I didn't expect her to go this far. I was too stunned to say anything.
Give it back. It's my house.
I don't know.
You're going to leave my aging parents homeless.
What do you say? You took the house away from my mother.
I don't care. Then I'll just take the house. With a private salon and a housekeeper.
Great. He opens the door of the house connected to the store. You can't come in here. Just as I was about to call the police.
What?
He was breathing hard and suddenly became quiet.
What is this?
Pointing to my father's heirloom leather shoes that were left at the entrance.
You already have a new man?
He says in a trembling voice. I had put them away in a box, but for some reason, I suddenly felt like polishing them this morning. He didn't realize that it belonged to my father. I guess it's no wonder. He wouldn't notice if I cut my hair 20 centimeters off, and can't remember anything about other people's shoes. I was sure he wouldn't remember that. He said,
Ugh, it's cheating. While I was there.
What? Especially, we are already divorced.
Who the hell are you? I won't forgive you.
He gets angry with a red face. What do you mean you won't forgive me? Who do you think you are? I gloated in my heart. I could scare such a selfish person a little, couldn't I? Are you ready for this?
What?
Are you prepared to deal with them? I'm asking. If you saw those expensive shoes, you'd know. I'm sure you'll get hurt if you're not prepared. I stare at his face. He is in a cold sweat. His eyes are swimming, and he can't seem to hide his agitation. There was no way my ex-husband, a petty man with a lot of pride, could be prepared for such a situation. You are silent, but what's wrong? Can I call already? My ex-husband said.
What? Do you want me to call him? What? Are you there?
Honey. Come here for a minute.
I gonna go.
He runs away like the wind. Mother puts both hands over her mouth and stifles a laugh.
Ha ha ha. Did you see that? How fast he ran away.
I am relieved and relaxed. She can't stop laughing. Ah ha ha ha. Hey, who did you call? You are a good actor. I laugh, too. My ex-husband will never come here again. Thanks for saving me, Dad. The sale of my parents' house was, of course, my mother's doing.
How could I possibly let you change the name of the house?
Did you know everything?
Of course. Of course. It has no effect when you put my name on a piece of paper like that.
I knew it from the beginning. I was going to do it this way from the beginning, but I thought I would not be able to go through with the procedure if I was blurry. I was just waiting to see how things would go. She says matter-of-factly. I was surprised that she was aware that she was a blur.
Lately, my head has been clear. It's as if the fog has lifted. So I'm sure it's getting better. I may be forgetting things, but I haven't been this way for a long time. I may be forgetting things, but it's always been like this.
But I can't believe you gave up your precious family home so easily.
Oh, my. Your father had said that we should sell the house. He said that you and your husband would eventually move out and we would sell the house and move to a convenient apartment in front of the station.
Is that so?
Life doesn't always go the way you think it will. Don't you think so?
Indeed. Looking back, the symptoms of dementia began to appear in her when she started staying at home. She is an active person by nature, so it is probably more to her liking to interact with others and exercise her mind and body in this way. I still need her to stay healthy.
I have to earn enough money for myself as an assistant.
I wonder if she will be okay for a while longer. Incidentally, my ex-husband and in-laws tried to return to the house they originally lived in, but their eldest son and his wife rejected them. They refused his mother, who is not good at cleaning and has a bad character, as well as my brother-in-law, who is filthy and selfish. I guess they would never accept her eldest son, who is filthy and selfish. By the way, the house is already in the eldest son's name, so they can't touch it. My ex and his mother have a very bad relationship because of the blame they put on each other. My ex was told that he had no place to live because of you and that he should take responsibility. He had no choice but to take out an unreasonable loan to buy a second-hand house. But knowing his savings and income, he was reckless. Knowing his savings and income, I think he is reckless. It seems we will have to live frugally to pay off the loan. It seems that the place we moved to has already turned into a dump. They piled up garbage bags on the street in front of the house right after they moved in, and the head of the neighborhood association, who was a tough guy, got angry with them, and the neighbors are also donkeys. Come on, please clean it up too. I don't care what you do because I have nothing to do with it, but please don't bother other people. That's right. His parents are still going strong, so they should work to help their thin-skinned son. If you don't want them to get mad at you, you have to do it, even clean the house. It's surely good for preventing dementia. What did you think of this story? Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.
I have made my decision. We might never see each other again. P.S. Please stop speaking ill of your sister-in-law.
Got it? You've pushed Mom to this point. It's all your fault. Bring Mom back.
Being accused without reason is utterly exasperating. Just so you know, it's you who repeatedly tried to deceive. Well, I won't hesitate to throw that "it's your fault" boomerang right back at you, right in your face. Brace yourself. My name is Olivia, and I'm 43 years old. I live with my husband, and we don't have any children. Even though it's just the two of us, my husband Michael is only in the US for half of the year. He travels around the world as a photographer, which keeps him away from home for extended periods. While it can be lonely at times, I don't mind waiting for him. The intercom at my house rang.
Olivia, it's me.
Hi, Nancy. I'll open the door.
I bought some sweets, thinking we could enjoy them together. It's your favorite chiffon cake.
Thank you. Since my father-in-law passed away last year, my mother-in-law, Nancy, has started visiting my home more often. She contacts me 2 or 3 times a week, asking if she can come over. Apparently, she finds being alone at home quite dull. Contrary to common expectations, our relationship as daughter-in-law and mother-in-law is quite good. We visit each other's homes, go shopping, and even travel together. I don't see it as an obligation. We genuinely enjoy each other's company. Nancy is kind and lovely, but she has become a bit forgetful since living alone. She often gets lost in thought or repeats the same stories multiple times. It's surprising because she's still in her 60s. I want to support her so that my husband can focus on his work abroad without worries. In an ideal situation, my husband's older brother, David, and his wife, Sophia, should be the ones looking out for Nancy as the eldest son. But I won't say anything old-fashioned like that out loud. The truth is, David has some strong quirks, and his wife, Sophia, is no different. When they're together, just having a conversation drains both my physical and mental energy. Despite their age, they're quite self-centered, almost reckless. We simply don't get along. So, Nancy ends up relying on me instead. As I'm brewing tea, the intercom rings once again. Who could it be?
It's me. Is Mom there?
Yo. Sup, Nancy?
Their voices echo, and I can't help but grimace. Nancy wears the same expression. Dropping by without any notice, truly uncouth behavior. What should we do?
Seems like they have some business with me. Can't be helped.
With a sigh, she responds. I agree and open the front door, and there they are.
Yo, Olivia. Sup?
Yo, sup.
They barge right in. I was at a loss for words in response to such an overly familiar and impolite greeting.
Why aren't you at your house, Mom?
Because I don't want to see you too.
Come on, that's harsh, even for your son.
What's the intention of going all the way to Olivia's house uninvited?
I'm in a hurry, you get it?
Nancy's attitude is one of exasperation.
I've said it many times, but I don't have any money to lend to you too.
Come on, please, I'm really counting on you.
As he says this, he helps himself to my chiffon cake. Wasn't that supposed to be a humble request? And to begin with, I can't fathom the nerve of eating someone else's chiffon cake, especially when it's my favorite. Seeing this, Sophia chimes in.
Olivia, what about mine?
There isn't any left.
Huh? Seriously? I wanted some.
Why would she assume there's any left?
David! Cut it out! Every time you see me, you ask for money. What do you think I am?
But you are my mom.
You idiot! That's not what I'm talking about.
David and Sophia were discontented expressions.
Well, with Dad gone, there's plenty of money, right?
Ha! There isn't.
That's a lie. You're always giving plenty to Michael, aren't you?
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Otherwise, how could he afford to travel abroad all the time? It's always Michael getting special treatment.
It's not just travel, it's work. Calling it special treatment seems unfair. It's work. When there's a job, whether it's for an extended period or in a dangerous location, he has to go. It's not all fun and games, you know? I say this with an irritated tone, but they seem completely unfazed.
By the way, where is he currently?
Right now, he's spending about a month capturing photos of the aurora.
Wow, that's amazing!
It's freezing at around -22 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's not a touristy location, it's in the outskirts. It's not all fun and games.
Going overseas just to take photos seems unfair.
I'm flabbergasted. What on earth are they up to since earlier? My husband works diligently, after all. They have no right to complain, especially when they spend money recklessly on dining out and entertainment, constantly asking Nancy for pocket money.
In any case, I won't lend any money. Besides, I don't even have any to spare.
Stingy.
Stingy is just fine.
I'll keep asking until you lend it to me.
Stop being so shameless.
Seeing stubborn Nancy, the two of them seem to give up.
If you won't talk about money, you can come in. I won't be home on Monday because of the neighborhood association trip.
Humph, I won't go.
You're not a very endearing son.
Geez, it's always Michael and Olivia getting special treatment.
He mutters these parting words before leaving, complaining about favoritism. We just don't get along.
I apologize, Olivia. They have a rather naive way of thinking.
Yes. Still, from her perspective, David is her son, so she probably can't be too forceful. I'd prefer not to be involved if I could help it. As I sadly observe the devoured chiffon cake, Nancy apologizes again, and I shake my head. Somehow, those two need to change. 3 days later. As usual, Nancy has come over to visit. Tomorrow is the neighborhood association trip day. Originally, she enjoyed going out with her husband, but since becoming a widow, she stopped venturing far. I encouraged her, thinking it's best to explore while she's still healthy. After all, life is long, and there's much to enjoy.
Olivia, what kind of souvenir would you like?
Chiffon cake is a must.
Understood.
Where are you staying?
Oh, didn't I mention it? It's a day trip to the spa.
Ah, I see. At that moment, her phone rang.
Oh, who could it be?
The screen displayed the name David. Quickly, I turned on the speaker function. It feels a bit like eavesdropping, but I have a bad feeling about this.
Mom? It's me, David.
What's wrong?
I've misused company funds. Please, can you lend me some money? I promise to pay it back.
We were all taken aback.
Is this some kind of scam?
Mom, are you listening? Can you lend me money?
Anxious, Nancy confirmed over the phone.
Who are you?
Huh? It's me, David.
His self-identification confirms it's really him.
Please, I'll lose my job. Help me out, Mom!
Why did you misuse company funds without permission?
I'm sorry. It was my mistake.
I know that he's a truck driver, spending most of his working hours alone, even managing his time card within the truck. In other words, he doesn't handle company funds directly. So how can he claim to have used them? It's not right to resort to such tactics just because he can't borrow money. And honestly, who falls for this cookie-cutter scam phone call? I thought to myself, but then.
What should we do?
She seemed flustered. Could she actually believe it? Falling for a suspicious scam she should recognize. Perhaps it's because they prey on her concern for family members. What a despicable method. I addressed Nancy. Please calm down. It's a scam using the classic technique. It's just family mischief.
Hey! We were almost there. Don't interfere.
Deceiving people is despicable.
I have no choice. If Mom won't lend me money, this is all I can do.
Nancy seemed relieved. But then, her frustration surfaced.
David! Cut it out with your teasing.
Mom, you're the one who should lend me some money.
Honestly, if you were using the borrowed money for living expenses, it would be one thing. But you're going to gamble, aren't you?
I'll increase it. I'm going to the casino.
Absolutely not.
Fine, then lend me enough that I won't need to go.
What a twisted argument. It infuriates me just listening.
You have no intention of paying it back.
But it'll eventually be mine anyway, won't it?
David, that's a conversation for after I'm gone, isn't it?
Well, I mean.
Honestly, it's always about money with you. That's why I haven't entrusted you with a key to my home.
She was trembling with anger. It's painful to hear.
Wait, then who has the key to your house?
Olivia does.
even though she is just my younger brother's wife?
How dare you say that? She's more reliable than you.
Huh?
Humph. You know what? Soon enough, I'll be gone, just as you wish.
She spits out those words. I can't stay silent any longer. David, this is too much. There are things you shouldn't say.
Don't butt in.
Do you understand how your mom feels?
Don't act like you know. Let me talk to Mom.
I'll handle the rest.
Bye.
As the call ends, she smiles, but the shock still lingers.
He's a troublesome son. Talking directly always leads to arguments.
I want to help, but I fear that intervening will only make things worse. How about sending messages? It might help you both stay calm.
Maybe I should try that.
She starts composing a message. The next day. As planned, Nancy went on her day trip to the spa. Concerned about yesterday's incident, I didn't want to leave her alone. Please stop by my place on your way back. I'll have dinner prepared. I messaged her. In response, she sent photos taken at bus stops and service areas in real time. She looked so happy, standing shoulder to shoulder with the other neighborhood association members. I hope she can truly relax at the spa. It seems my wish was granted. When she returned, she had a cheerful expression.
It was wonderful.
I'm glad she regained her energy. As we looked at the photos she sent, she shared stories of her trip.
We took a walk along the river before going to the spa.
That sounds exceptional.
It was enjoyable, but I'm exhausted. Even for a day trip, it's quite tiring. Michael, who travels all over the world, has an incredible job.
Absolutely.
Let's have some chiffon cake together. I'll have mine with coffee.
Understood. As I was preparing coffee in the kitchen, my phone rang.
Oh no.
I muttered aloud, knowing that only David would call me like this. What could he want? Hello?
It's all your fault.
His voice blared through the phone. Huh? I was taken aback by his sudden anger.
You're the reason, Mom.
His words trailed off, and I could hear Sophia yelling in the background.
Murderer.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Mom has passed away. And it's because of you.
What? I was utterly confused. How could I be responsible for Nancy's death?
You don't know? Let me enlighten you. Yesterday, I received a message from Mom. It said, if things continue like this, I'll have to make a decision. We might never see each other again. P.S. Stop bad-mouthing Olivia. Got it? Because of you, Mom is gone.
Huh? I have no idea what interpretation to make of it. It's certainly the kind of message an older person might send, just the facts, but anyone involved in yesterday's conversation should be able to understand it. But Nancy is at home.
That can't be. Don't try to deceive me. Now is the chance. No, the only time. No, right now. Hand over the key to Mom's home.
The key?
Well, we need it for the funeral preparations.
I understand the intention. While Nancy is away on a day trip, David is attempting to deceive me and search Nancy's home. And to think the trip is just a day trip. He wouldn't expect Nancy to be at my home both yesterday or today. I hold nothing but contempt for him, for engaging in fraudulent activities for money and treating his own mother as if she were already gone. It's not a matter of loose screws. He's missing some essential component required for basic human decency. He can't fathom the anger and sorrow Nancy and I feel. Unforgivable. There's something I need to verify. Could you come over?
Understood. I'll be right there. Prepare the key and wait.
I apologized to Nancy, who was relaxing in the living room, and asked her to buy some coffee milk. She stepped out of the house, unaware of the situation. David and Sophia appeared with unwarranted confidence.
Yo, sup, Olivia.
Yo, sup?
David greeted, and Sophia echoed the same. It was all too normal. According to them, Nancy had passed away, but their lack of attention to detail was glaring. David demanded the key to Nancy's home. I wiped my eyes with a handkerchief.
What's wrong?
I can't believe Nancy's gone. They both stared at me, bewildered. They couldn't forget the fictional scenario they'd set up.
Oh, right.
David finally said, and Sophia chimed in with a poorly acted.
Yes, it's so sad.
It's your fault.
Oh. That's right. You have no right to cry.
They finally seemed to recall the narrative where I had driven Nancy to her death. I discreetly pulled out my phone. Here's a photo I received from Nancy today. It showed her smiling amidst steam at the spa. They looked at it, wide-eyed.
Where is this?
I gazed into the distance. Where could it be? It almost looks like she's in the clouds. They gasped.
Heaven?
No way!
But wait! Mom's legs are missing!
It was just the steam obscuring her legs. Apparently, they didn't know she was at the spa. To further confuse them, I showed another photo, Nancy posing by the river. She looked tired, worn out from her walk. I muttered to myself. Looking at it this way, she seems to have lingering regrets.
Is this the river Styx?
No way!
Cut it out! Mom is on a trip, isn't she?
What's going on?
No, it's different. Well.
This situation isn't my fault. I haven't done anything. Please don't suspect me. They panic, alternating glances between me and the photos. Their fictional tale has become reality, and fear grips them.
Come on, let's stop this.
Shut up. There's no turning back now.
I look at the two of them with a bitter expression. Let's put an end to this nonsense. It's about time they admit their lies and apologize. I think this will make things clear. It's from Nancy. Please enjoy. I say, opening the box of souvenir chiffon cake. Surely, they'll notice. But no, they don't.
Is this a funeral gift?
No way!
Is the funeral already over?
We weren't even invited. Clearly, Nancy is still upset.
How did they arrive at this conclusion? Look closely. Are they so paralyzed by fear that they can't think straight? Their faces turn pale, and despair fills their eyes. Tears well up.
Is Mom really gone?
Come on, calm down.
Huh? So in the end, who's to blame?
It's you. When I was about to reveal the truth, the intercom buzzed. To my surprise, it was my husband Michael. He had returned early from his overseas shoot.
Surprise!
What's going on? I thought your return was still a while away.
The shoot finished sooner than expected. Oh! Why are you here?
Then he noticed David and Sophia, both wiping tears.
Hey, what happened?
Michael, Mom, she.
Oh! I just saw her outside.
Ha!
Listen, I had a close call while skiing in the mountains. I slipped and almost ended up encased in ice.
David and Sophia turned even paler.
Are you sure you just slipped?
Yeah, I hit my head and thought I might pass out.
Wait, did you see Mom?
Yeah,
But you're not supposed to be back yet.
my work is done.
Wait a minute, do you realize what's happening to you?
Oh no!
Michael chuckled.
What are you talking about? It's surreal and beautiful. You guys should go see it too.
Ha!
It's the aurora. Looks like angels descending from the sky.
Is it time for us to be taken?
We're not ready yet.
They both shook their heads and broke into a cold sweat.
Hey, we're leaving. I've been feeling chills, and I don't want to stay here anymore.
Chills?
Yeah, I have a bad feeling.
Isn't it just your imagination? Were you always this sensitive? My husband tried to stop them.
It's fine, since you're already here. Take your time. I'm sure Mom will be back soon.
Hearing that, David and Sophia audibly gasped.
Mom? Coming back soon?
Yeah, she told me she'd be right back.
Whoa!
No way!
The two of them screamed and rushed out of the house. However, they collided with Nancy, who had just returned.
Oh!
No, no!
What's going on with you two? Screaming like that when you see someone's face.
Mom, weren't you on a trip? You said so.
Ha! The trip ended a while ago.
But... is this a lie?
It was short but nice. It felt like ascending to heaven.
Wait! Please wait. I'll change. I promise. Don't go yet, Mom!
David began to cry, distorting his face. Surprised, Nancy said,
Well, that's good. But what's going on?
Sophia continued crying in fear. My husband, still bewildered, stood there speechless. But the explanation would come later. Could you please stop asking for money? You said you'd change your ways, right?
Fine. I'll stop.
I'm relieved to hear those words. Perhaps he's realizing that his joking requests aren't appropriate.
What on earth is going on?
I have no idea.
Well, let me explain. It's been a while since my husband returned home, and I'd love to hear about the auroras. But it might be a lengthy conversation, so I'll make some tea. Thankfully, there's plenty of chiffon cake. Later, David, who had been complaining of chills, suddenly developed a fever. Given how much he was sweating earlier, it's not surprising. Maybe it's just a fever of the mind. However, both David and Sophia are now acting as if they've been cursed or struck by lightning, completely different from their usual selves. They're intense in their beliefs. Well, you could also say they're straightforward. If only they'd reflect on their behavior and live earnestly. That's what I hope for. As of now, I have no intention of forgiving him, and his remorse won't erase what he did. No matter how much time passes, we'll never see eye to eye. However, for Nancy, David will always be her son. He's like a mischievous child who grew up without changing. They say that the more troublesome children are, the more endearing they become. And just like before, I'm sure Nancy will forgive him repeatedly. But when she heard the whole story, Nancy was furious. From phone scams to attempted theft, and even the souvenirs she had thoughtfully bought turned into funeral gifts for herself, anyone would be angry. She scolded him.
At your age, don't you know the difference between right and wrong? You fool!
I'm sorry.
At least he apologized instead of arguing back. Then Nancy added,
But don't worry, I'm still going strong.
She's not upset at all, she'll stay lively forever. David and I may not get along, but on that, we feel the same. My husband is leaving for work overseas again soon. He tells me that he's worried about the family, but everything will be all right if I take care of it. It's a mix of happiness and complexity. Whether it's keeping Nancy company over tea or watching over David, I'll take care of it all. He can go to work with peace of mind.
How did you find this story? And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Until next time.